Welcome to Zombie Popcorn Radio. This is Jason, and it's just me tonight for just, a few moments anyway. Paul will not be here. Josh, as far as I know, will not be here. So it will just be me until about halfway into the show when we have John Austin on the program. John Austin is the writer of So Now You're a Zombie, a handbook for the Newly Undead. If you're in the chat room, you can see the book in 3D. If you're not, you can go check it out at johnaustinbook.com. johnaustinbooks.com. And you can see what we're talking about later in the show. But this week has been insane for zombies. It's just been over the top. Zombies everywhere. Hey, welcome to the chat room, 3D Movie Man. How are you doing? Welcome to Zombie Popcorn Radio. It's been totally crazy for zombies. I mean, as you know, last week we had on the show the director for the movie Zombies, putting a new twist on the zombie genre of teaching you how to see, or not really teaching you, but just showing you what it's like to be a zombie through the zombie's eyes. It's a very funny movie, and if you haven't gotten it, you should go out and get it. And if you won it on our contest that we had last week, congratulations, William. Congratulations. It's great stuff. And then also last week on the show we had Whitney, the creator of an event called Survive Norfolk. And what Survive Norfolk was an event that happened actually last night. And it was pretty much a game of tag on the streets of Norfolk, Virginia. And it started off, if you listen to the program last weekend, you found out that it was just supposed to be, just a game of tag with her and her close friends, maybe 10, 20 people, coming out and playing tag. So she put the invite up on Facebook and invited everybody out. And when I say everybody, I mean everyone. The invites of people who are going to attend shot up to, I think it ended up being 7,000. I don't remember the exact number, what it ended up coming up to. But a lot of people showed up, and according to the city officials, more than 1,700 people actually showed up to play the game of zombie tag. So that's pretty amazing. It was fun. We were there. Zombie Popcorn was there talking to everyone. We passed out our very first ever promotional item. We've never advertised for Zombie Popcorn or Zombie Popcorn Radio. And it just happened to work out that I had these postcards made up. One side is our Zombie Popcorn, logo with Zombie Popcorn, and the other side was the Zombie Popcorn Radio, telling the hours of when we are live. And they went over well. I was really impressed with how people were like, "Oh, this is cool," because we never advertise. We just do our thing, and then that's it. I want to show a video real quick because this is a video somebody made. Jay Sanchez, I guess. The video was not sent to me. I just found it on Facebook. It was a video he put together from the zombie Survive Norfolk last night. So let's take a second and give you a preview of how this event looked, because there was a lot of zombies there. It was insane. So here's the preview for it.
They'll take you one by one and no one will hear you scream. No one will hear you scream. On your mark! Get set!
Nice. How many checkpoints?
3. He's got 2. We got 3 checkpoints.
Yeah, we got 3 checkpoints.
3 of them. 3 out of 4.
I died after 2 checkpoints.
2 checkpoints.
Yeah.
Number 2 and 1.
1?
1.
1. It's a kill zone. I'm dying.
So that was Survive Norfolk. That was the video that Jay Sanchez made. Very awesome, very awesome. So it was a good times. Good times were had by all, and zombies took over Norfolk, which is pretty awesome. It doesn't happen every day, but now since it went so well, there are rumors that this is going to be an annual event, and that it'll get bigger and bigger and better. I mean, because this one just happened haphazardly because it just blew up organically. So, it's fun. So that was it. Since Halloween is next weekend, I wanted to talk about a couple Halloween events that is in the news, actually. One of them's really funny because... let me find it real quick. This is in Florida. An elderly couple were at a garage sale, and they, just shopping, what people do at garage sales, and they found a box of what they thought was Halloween decorations. So they bought it for I think it was $5, and took the item home. And when they got it home and they pulled everything out, they realized that it was a full human skeleton. Not a fake human skeleton, but a real one. And they ended up calling the police, and they made the news for it. I want to play the clip for the news on that, because this is a pretty funny story.
Redo your kitchen cabinets. Come in.
After we redo our kitchen cabinets, of course. Commercials get us every single time.
All right, as we go toward Halloween here, there's a rather spooky mystery tonight that local detectives are trying to solve. They want to know who is the missing human skeleton.
That's right. Fox 13's Lloyd Sowers says the mystery began at a neighborhood yard sale.
Happy Halloween!
It's the holiday when the paranormal is normal.
when shock value becomes a family value, and when a skeleton would be so appropriate if it just weren't so real, like the one that Mitchell Fletcher bought for $8 at a yard sale in a box.
And the box was only about 2 foot square.
Arms and legs and...
Arms, legs, and all.
Head?
Head.
It wasn't his wife's idea.
I got looking at it and I said, gosh, I said, this is the real thing. I thought it was just a Halloween deal that he picked up.
The real thing, a skeleton?
Yeah.
So they called the sheriff, and the would-be Halloween decoration became a kind of antiques roadshow for detectives.
It's a human anatomical skeleton valued at $3,000. We believe it maybe belongs to a college or university that you would use to teach students about the human anatomy.
Just like this one that we found at the USF Physiology Lab, right next to cadavers used by medical students. Pretty weird.
We did find a serial number on the femur. We're just trying to find that college or university that's missing a $3,000 skeleton.
A skeleton worth $3,000. The Fletchers bought it for $8. Where do you get a deal like that? Well, they can't quite remember.
They do know it was in the Brandon area on Parsons between Lumsden and Bloomingdale Road, somewhere along there, so you never know what you're going to find at yard sales.
But state law says individuals can't own actual human skeletons. Only schools and colleges can. The Fletchers say, great deal or not, they don't want it back anyway.
If I see any more, I will report them to the sheriff's department, but I don't want them.
Oh, they'll still look for deals at yard sales, but how do you top this?
I don't know about anything, that would be that spectacular.
Or that surprising from a box of bones at a yard sale. Lloyd?
I love how they just kind of report stories like this. Like, they blow it into something way bigger than what it is. I mean, it's really funny. They're like, bodies used in medical labs. Weird, right? I mean, come on. That's what they do. It's a medical school, anyway. So, yeah, I thought that was kind of funny that they bought it and they're, like, freaking out about it. And that it's illegal in Florida. Hey, Jen, what's up? That it's illegal to have a human skeleton in Florida. That's what I really found weird. But, I don't know. With all the dead things around, it's pretty amazing. Because everybody's cashing in on this, and even Sears has jumped on the bandwagon of zombies. If you go to the Sears.com, we in no way promote them, but I just thought this was weird. If you're in the chat room, you can see in the video that Sears has gone zombified. All their ads have zombies in them. They have for their clothing, there's zombies modeling their clothing. They have videos, actually, of them selling products to zombies. Cameras for zombies. They have dishwashers for zombies, cookery for zombies, shoes, everything. It's very bizarre. Real quick, we'll play one video from the Sears collection. Next, Martha Stewart will have her own zombie show, I guess. But here's the...
Hey there. It's not uncommon to feel a little stiff after becoming undead, but with the right equipment, you can get back into shape and moving like a human again. So let's get started. At Sears, we have lots of great equipment to help you shape up and get fit. Take treadmills, for example. They're a great cardio workout, and many come with special features like incline settings and heart rate monitors. There you go, buddy. Push it to the max. Another great way to work out is with the stationary bike. These bikes adjust to your height and fitness level and even come with preset workouts to help you really push yourself to the max. And don't forget stretching to stay limber. I recommend an exercise ball. Just lay down on the ball on your back and walk your feet out. You'll really feel the stretch right through here. Give it a try, Jeff. Okay, still getting warmed up. We'll try again. Very good. Be sure to check out all our fitness equipment at Sears.com and get those undead muscles moving again. How was that? Did we get it? Yeah, we got it. High five. Hey, very close. Group hug. Oh no! Oh, not again! Stinging! Get off! Why?
Really, why? Why? Not that I'm complaining. I mean, hey, I have zombie popcorn, so I don't know if that's any different from Sears. I guess it definitely is different from Sears, but everybody's trying to cash in on it, which is, I guess, is a good thing. Zombies have their day now, so we're starting getting stories, movies, books, everything that actually dives into the lives of the zombies, which is pretty cool. Yep. So this is weird doing a show without a sidekick. Yep. So this is it. It's just me talking to you guys. Woo! Did y'all hear about Randy Quaid and his wife running to Canada, trying to seek refugee status in Canada? They were apparently running from a warrant, but when they got there, they told. Let me see if let me get the quote. Saying that they begged with a Canadian immigration person not to force them to return, saying that their friends such as David Carradine and Heath Ledger have been murdered under mysterious circumstances, and are worried that this would happen next to her husband, saying that the death of those two people were murders, and that there's the quote Hollywood murderers running around, and Randy Quaid may be next. I mean, I guess I'm puzzled just as much as everybody else, but this is on AP. This was on Yahoo News today, on the AP Wire. Very bizarre. But they were actually they had a warrant out for their arrest for felony vandalism. And so they were arrested in Canada and, I guess sent back. But they pleaded not to be sent back because of the murderers were after them. Yeah, 3D Movie Man in the chat room says they need to lay off the meth. Could be. I mean, or maybe there really are Hollywood murderers, and David Carradine and Heath Ledger were victims of them. I mean, according to them, anyway. I don't know, but I saw the story today, and I was like, "What the fuck? That is so bizarre." They say we feel our lives are in danger. Randy has known 8 of his friends murdered in odd, strange manners, and we feel we are next. That's what his wife said. Weird. I would love to follow up on this story. If anybody's close to Randy Quaid or his wife that listen to this show, that happens. But y'all should give me a call so we can talk about this, because I'm very interested in it. I'm sure everybody else is. Their attorney apparently doesn't have much to say according to this article. But what if they're not crazy? What if they are actually, there's really something going on? How bizarre would that be? Yeah, some more movies. 3D Movie Man in the chat room says there's more movies made in Canada, so that's what makes them feel safe there. It's true. So, I mean, Tron is being filmed there, or was filmed there, doing something there, and we're looking forward to that. Oh, speaking of 3D movies, that's what we talk about here. The Saw franchise. Whoa, what's going on there? The Saw franchise, I can't talk, put a photo booth with hidden cameras in the photo booths at certain selected movie theaters, and invited people to have their photo made, for promotion. And they put out this video, which is really funny because, well, I don't want to spoil it for you. Just take a moment and watch.
And choose either black and white or color. Make sure your eyes are even with a horizontal line. Get ready. Get ready. 3, 2, 1.
I want to play a game.
Since the beginning, you have watched others suffer. Now it is your turn to play.
That dude freaked the fuck out. So, yeah. So I thought that was pretty cool. And the reason I brought that up, one, I just like it's Halloween and I like watching people get scared. Two, there is a new Red Band clip from the movie, the 3D movie Saw, of showing one of the main characters getting killed. And I've never been into the Saw movies. I've never really enjoyed them. Not that I've seen them all. I've only seen one, but I didn't enjoy it, and it didn't do anything for me to want to go back to see it. Yes, and it comes out next weekend, and yes, I will be going to see it just because it's in 3D. But I want to play this Red Band clip from the movie real quick. If you're under 18, there's a lot of blood and violence, so please get your parents or guardians permission before you can watch this. But anyway, this is one of the kill scenes, and I'm sure it will look so much better in 3D, but this is what we got in 2D.
Oh, God.
You want to know the only thing wrong with killing you, Jill? I can only do it once. You want to know the only thing wrong with killing you, Jill? I can only do it once.
Okay, I have to say that the body parts fine look awesome. I'm very excited about the body parts flying at the screen. Sorry about the video. First, Miley was talking to me and I got sidetracked and forgot to hit a button. So yeah, but the blood and the gore in it looks awesome, and that's kind of reminds me of what they did with My Bloody Valentine and all that. So I'm excited about seeing it. Just for the 3D effects, just to see how creative they get with the 3D, and so I will be there for that. Very excited about it. Yes, 3D movement. I agree. We do like gore in 3D because there shouldn't be any other type of gore. Only gore in 3D. If you're going to do a movie, it needs to be in 3D and it needs to be very gory. So yeah. But speaking of movies, but this one's not going to be in 3D, and I guess that's all right because it's done by director and writer James Gunn. If you've been reading Zombie Popcorn, then you've probably already seen this video. But I'm a big fan of James Gunn. For those who don't know James Gunn, he co-wrote the movie Romeo and Juliet. He wrote and directed Scooby-Doo, and he also directed the remake of Dawn of the Dead, which was a very good remake, and of course Slither. And now he has a new movie coming out called Super, and it's still in the same vein of all the other superhero movies coming out, where average citizen wants to become a superhero. But this time, the story is a little bit different. His wife falls under the influence of a drug dealer. And so he transforms himself into the Crimson Bolt, a superhero with the best intentions, but he lacks heroic skills. So I'm going to take a few moments to show this video because it's actually a clip from the movie. It's actually very funny. So here it is, Super James Gunn.
World premiere.
Why do people have to do that? We've been waiting here forever.
You realize that there's like a sailor's hat involved.
Hey. Hey, excuse me. Hey, no buts.
What difference does it make to you?
Line. You go to the back of the line now.
Go fuck yourself. Fuck yourself. Yeah, like, you know, this big handsome guy back here. Like fucking shit. Literally what's wrong with his face. Like, I don't know if it's flat or wide or...
Mommy. Annie, come here.
Hey! Don't butt!
Who do you think you're fooling? I just saw you. Wait.
Get off him! What the hell are you
got it too!
Super. Doesn't that look awesome? I don't know. I think it looks awesome. I think it's going to be funny. And violence. So that's always a good mixture. Yay. At least he's wearing red, yeah. So he can get away with it easy. But I love the scene where he's changing into his costume in the car and the little girl's like, Mommy. That's pretty awesome. Anyway, we need to go to... Yeah, it is definitely easier to hide the stains. We are about to start our interview with John Austin. I got to give him a call real quick. And for the next however minutes this takes, we're going to be talking to him. So give me a few minutes. Let me get him on the phone. And we will conduct this interview. Skype. So yeah, that movie looks really, really good. So, yeah, and also, if any of you in the chat room have questions for Mr. John Austin, feel free to ask your questions in the chat room, and I'll make sure he hears them. Let's see what we can do here.
Hello, this is John Austin speaking.
Hey, John. How you doing? This is Jason from Zombie Popcorn.
Jason, real good.
You sound good. You're actually live on the air now. So.
Oh, great.
We're very
I see
eager.
that you're from Cincinnati.
What's that?
True? You're from Cincinnati?
No, I'm actually in Virginia.
Oh, okay, because the number came through from Cincinnati, so I thought you were in the area.
No, I'm actually calling through Skype, so...
Okay,
we can
well,
record it.
hello everybody at Zombie Popcorn.
They say hello. We have a video chat room as well, so some of our listeners will be throwing questions at us as well. So,
Oh, great. That should be, that should be great.
last week we had director from the movie All Zombies on the program, and his movie was done through the eyes of the zombies. It was what it's like to be a zombie and view the world through their eyes, and how they feel that they're not zombies, and how they're misrepresentation. And your book, so now you're a zombie, a handbook for the newly undead, kind of plays along with that theme. but goes into great detail. Why don't you take a moment and tell us what is the handbook for the Newly Undead and why you put this book together?
Yeah, well, I put the project together because two reasons. One, when the zombie virus hits, as we know, a lot of us will be joining the other side. And it's true. And the second part of that is I really believe that zombies do need brains to survive, to function, and a lot of authors out there, they kind of toy with it, or it's heavily discussed in the zombie community that, in fact, they do not need human flesh or brains to survive. And it's like I wanted to kind of put a manual together that kind of illustrated why zombies, for instance, they hunt for humans, why they hunt, different hunting patterns. Some people have said, like, well, zombies can read. And, of course, this book is humorous in nature, but just like everything, even zombies are evolving, you know. Just because pop culture has taught us that zombies can't read and they have, no intelligence and just kind of stumble around, who's to say that there isn't a strain of Z virus out there that, in fact, zombies, have somewhat low levels of intelligence, even though their memory has erased completely, during zombification. Maybe they need a manual to figure out the ins and outs of the human race and what to eat, what not to eat, how to hunt. So it's basically a book on how to hunt, fight, and feed on the living when you put it all together.
It's a very detailed book, and if anybody wants to see it, you can go to johnaustinbooks.com. I have it up on the screen in the chat room if you want to see it, but please visit johnaustinbooks.com and check out this book and many his other books. The book is really, it's not just a manual as you would think about, just showing how to hunt and how to live your life as a zombie. It actually goes into great detail of the history of zombies in terms of the origins, the roots of, just like it would be for humans.
Yep.
Can you talk about that a little bit?
Yeah, definitely. I kind of took some liberties with it, but and kind of stuck with some of the, the stories that were already out there. But I kind of thought that maybe zombies and humans kind of evolved over time, since the beginning of man, and just kind of played up that when Homo sapiens left Africa and they split up in three parts, which is kind of proven. And the one group, I think it was the Neanderthals, they actually got wiped out. And I was kind of playing up with that, like maybe zombies forced the Homo sapiens actually, and I was calling them Zomo sapiens. They pretty much chased them out of Africa and caught up to one group, and just from then it's just been like pockets have been scattered around the world because it's kind of all started off in Africa. So yeah, I just kind of played around with that and showing how tools and weapons of the human race were evolved and adapted because of zombies. For instance, the axe and the sword. Originally, they were the weapons of choice to decapitate a zombie, but over time, humans decided to evolve their weapons and manufacture handguns, and then the axe, of course, became a tool, and a sword. And I kind of play around with that. Kind of became a decorative item on the Home Shopping Network.
It's pretty awesome. The book starts off in what's pretty much the most important thing to start off this book with. If you think you're a zombie, and you have the self-diagnosis checklist to find out if you are a zombie. Why did you feel that? I mean, I feel that the zombie assessment is important. How did you come up to find out your references to how you came up with this checklist to make sure?
Yeah. Just kind of did a little research on it, and then it's just like the ins and outs of what everybody knows as a zombie. It's like skin decay. If your skin appears to be falling off, you could be a zombie, but it's not guaranteed. If for some reason you have a craving for brains instead of pizza, I mean, that's a good indication that maybe something's going on. You're not right. So it kind of goes through there. And if you didn't, kind of the way I did the checklist, if you don't check them all, you're probably not a zombie, but you should seek medical attention immediately because there's something else going on.
Especially one of the check marks is if you're bulletproof from the neck down. I mean,
yeah, definitely.
Because if you're not a zombie by that point.
And, with the whole bulletproof, there's a chapter called Headshots, And a zombie can actually get hit in the head and survive. It just can't get hit, and there's a military term for it. It's called a deadly triangle. And I kind of illustrate some different references of how the deadly triangle and the kill box work on a human skull. So I kind of play around with that, too.
3D Movement in our chat room is asking, why do zombies like brains?
Yeah, exactly. Well, the way I figure is the Z virus needs uninfected flesh to create energy, to create the zombie's locomotion and keep all the functions going. It can eat any flesh it wants of a human, and it's not digesting it, it's absorbing it. It's kind of a different theory, but the brain has billions of specialized neurons. It's like they're specialized cells. They're like super active. So when a zombie digests this, they need less of an intake of human flesh, and then it's what's called a medulla rush. And that's what we see sometimes in movies where you can actually see these zombies. They're running at high speeds. They can jump. Well, I'm kind of basing it off. It's like a zombie can't do that 24/7. But if they just have digested or absorbed these brains, now they have that ability, which is limited up to 24 hours until muscle rips and all that other stuff goes on.
Yeah. So, you said, starting off chapter 2 of your book, you said, no need to ask a doctor if the Z virus is right for you, because you explain how the zombie body is better. How is the zombie body better? I mean,
well, first off, it's resilient to pain. It doesn't need rest. You can light it on fire and you can still function. I mean, the body is pretty indestructible, minus decapitation, of course. Yeah. So, and that illustration has I think there's an illustration in that chapter that has this old lady and she's winning a big check, and it's the right place at the right time. Congratulations, you're infected with the Z virus. Sweet old lady, a few extra days, because some of us are due for toe tags, and the zombie prolongs that life no matter what, physical condition you're in. You get a couple more years.
So it's kind of an indirect fountain of youth. or fountain of life, So that's awesome. One question I have for you, this is kind of more on the Fox News spin, is you wrote this book about zombies and have a strong dislike for humans, because that's the tone of the book. But currently you're still human. So does that mean Correct. You're trying to get on their good side? Are you trying to become like Commandante Marcos from the Zapatistas?
That's a good question. If the tides turn and we're outnumbered, 1 to 100, yeah, maybe I'll rise up and be the zombie leader just so I can keep be alive. I prefer the human life, just like everybody else out there. I don't think I could actually digest human brains. It sounds pretty disgusting to me. But yeah, the way I wrote it was, what happens if you could pool, thousands of zombies, recorded attacks, and the knowledge of zombies, and you could, put them in a single handbook, because as the zombie's history reflects, they have no success. They haven't taken over the world, so they're doing something wrong. So if somehow there were some intelligent zombies out there and they put all this all this information in this handbook, which you're actually supposed to store within your body cavities, an open body cavity, then you could, assist the movement, the zombie movement.
Yes, the book itself is very well done. The illustrations and the writing and everything about it is pretty much one of the best zombie guides I've written, that I've ever had the chance to read.
Thank you.
I love the illustrations. I love how simple it is, but very it's very humorous. I mean, it's like the Molotov bypass is in one of your chapters of how as a zombie how to attack. Can you give us some examples about tell us about the Molotov bypass and other methods that you encourage zombies to attack with?
Yeah, definitely. Towards the attacking chapters, I broke them up to firearms, melee weapons, and then the flame. And then it gives some what's supposed to be like successful zombie attacks. So I have like the drench march and fire composure, and then there's the bypass, of course. And it just shows two illustrations of, first, the human throwing this liquid bottle at a zombie, and then it shows a zombie on fire, and he's continuing on. He's supposed to bypass it. It's kind of humorous because it's telling you judge the trajectory of the bottle, which is, ludicrous. A zombie really can't do that. But what's more deadly than you is you on fire. So that's kind of what's playing up. So
well, I just love how it's written because
if he's in throwing distance, he's in eating distance.
Because it says, the Molotov bypass is the study of the burning missile trajectory. While the device is in the air, you can estimate the point of impact and shuffle away from the surrounding area. In truth, this is not a good strategy. You really shouldn't alter your course of attack, because any human within throwing distance is within eating.
Yeah.
I just like it because you're like, okay, here's the plan, but really, just keep going.
Yeah, there's a horrible idea, but just do it, okay?
Just get to the brain.
It's written in the book, and it must be right. Yeah, the illustrations come from my toy background. I was a senior toy designer at Hasbro Toys. And did a lot of Transformers, G.I. Joe, and stuff like that. So I did all the illustrations in the book, and
very nice, very nice.
Yeah, about 150 of them. So there's quite a few drawings.
Yeah, it's very nice. 3D Movement in the chat room, and you do talk about the question he asked in your book. He says, like, how long can a zombie survive without human flesh, and can they live on animals? And I know you have a strong section in the book about it's not a good idea to eat animals.
Well, for the animal part, it gives a couple different food pyramids, actually. One is the suggested diet of a zombie feeding on a human. It's like different parts of the body, the consumption amount. And then it goes into the second part is, well, if the human's not available, go for the domesticated animal, because a lot of these animals will be left behind by the humans, and they'll be weak and unfed, possibly chained up, locked indoors. And then the third, unfortunately, is the rodent group. This is the peskiest of all the groups because they're just very hard and, hard to catch. It's like a rat, a mouse, a pigeon, squirrel, and it's kind of degrading for a zombie. But yes, they can live off of it. Animals they should avoid, of course, are gorillas and chimpanzees and stuff like that, because as you know, they're 10 times stronger than human. They can rip a zombie apart, easily. And a zombie doesn't want competition either.
Yeah.
Why would you infect all these large, animals, and now all of a sudden you're fighting for human flesh right next to a tiger or a lion or an alligator?
But you do in the book.
As far as a zombie, before it's technically starves, there's a couple different scenarios. If it's a fresh one, if it's an older one, but I was kind of saying between a year and a half. I think you could possibly shamble around until you're completely stiff. At which point you don't die. It's basically your body gives out. Well, I should say you don't die the second time. So your post-life doesn't end. But it's like your limbs might fall off. It's like, I don't know, just your body's just going to decompose to the point where it's useless and it can't hunt. And that's where you kind of see those zombies laying, sometimes they're depicted in movies where they're laying on the road and they're just like, you can hear them like gasping, like, and that's kind of at the point where they've completely decomposed to they're useless.
Very nice. You mentioned the zombie food pyramid. You want to break that down a little bit? Because you start off the top being brains, but you actually...
Yeah, definitely brain. I'm saying it's like... let me just flip to it real quick if I can find it. Yeah, the brain group by far is the most important. I'm suggesting about 3 pounds of intake per month. And if the brain is not available, then it's like your internal organs, and you're like 8 to 10 pounds. And of course, the blood group, but it's not the point that you're actually drinking blood like a vampire. It's just you're consuming it with flesh. And I kind of like play off on that. It's like vampires suck. It's like we don't need to do that. We can just eat it. And then the last group, which is of course the degrading group, is the bone marrow group. And I suggest do not stuff femurs inside your throat, because that's going to cause blockage. And then you have these gastric explosions coming out of your stomach. And this is a lot of times you see in the movies where these zombies, like, their whole abdomen and stuff are like, falling apart or blown up.
Yeah.
This is because for some reason they either absorb, infected flesh or rotten flesh or bones or something that cause, internal problems. And then, of course, there's a lovely chart how to actually get to the brain by removing the jaw. And then parts of the internal organs in case the zombie really wants to know.
One of the most humorous sections, I mean, they're all of it is very, very humorous, but the section on housing, human structures. And I like how you have, in the diagrams, you have a boarded up house that says, one is we kill zombies, and then the next photo is a picture that, all the windows are broken out, the garage is empty, and you have a diagram. There's not a family there. And it goes into great detail about how to find humans.
Yeah, it's like, a boarded up house is obvious for a human. A zombie has very low IQ, if not none or any. So a big red sign that's painted on the garage door says, "We kill zombies." That's a pretty good indication there's somebody in there. And the house half burnt up with all the windows blown out. Probably nobody, humans not going to seek refuge in there.
Yeah.
And then I go into the points, there's like 12 different ways you can get into a boarded house, and one of them, of course, is the zombie battling ram, where it's like you grab your fellow Zed and you go head first into the door until either his head cracks open or the door breaks open. So there's a couple different ways that a zombie could enter a house, and this is a great reference too. If you are boarded up in a house, you can refer to this and it's like the basement window. It's like, why would I or the garage door, maybe it needs to be locked or stuff like that you can troubleshoot before the zombie break takes place.
But you don't want humans reading this book, because
it's laced with Z virus. So any human that picks it up is a member of the zombie army.
Yeah.
It's kind of like outlined at the last page. So a human has grabbed this book, read through the whole thing. He's like, "Oh man,
thanks for this."
Now I'm a zombie.
Because that's exactly what I did. Is I got to the last page, I was like, "Oh, great."
You only have a couple more hours left, huh, from being a human?
Just like, I guess I better get this interview in quick.
Yeah.
For those who don't know, I don't want to, we kind of hinted on it, but go get the book, and when you get to the last section of it, you'll understand. So,
yeah.
You will become, that's for sure. 3D Movie Man in the chat room is asking, what did zombies do for fun when they're not feeding?
Well, that's a very good question. I would have to say, the way I outline it, they hunt, fight, and feed. But I would say maybe these go on long walks. I can't see a zombie doing too many other things.
Just for long strolls into the...
Yeah, they just long shambles, through the woods, long shambles on the beach, until they stumble upon, some helpless humans, and then they feed.
See, if Paul was here, 3D Movie Man, he could do the soundtrack for the zombies walking on the beach. But anyway, my co-host does soundtracks to movies, so...
Oh, okay.
He's really into zombies as well. He's just not with us tonight. Well, speaking about them, I guess the overall theme of a zombie is, hunt, fight, and feed. But also highlighted in the book is it's important to help spread the infection because, as you mentioned, zombies are predatory animals, so therefore they hunt in packs. Why is it important for them outside of the pack aspect?
Yeah, that's a great question. It's just like any animals. They're stronger in a pack, of course. The more they can add to the mob, the better the chances are defeating the human. So, the infecting section, it's like a zombie wants to eat, but sometimes you get infected and you escape the jaws of a zombie. You run back into your house, lock the door, and eventually become infected. This is just kind of illustrating how a zombie could improve his statistics of infecting and not always eating, because he is selfish. He just wants to eat. But different ways that if for some reason you attack a bunch of people, different ways that a human could get infected through, like the eye socket or the ear canal, nasal openings. It's like open wounds, stuff like that. And then it kind of gives percentages, like 48% of all infections come from the bite, and then 18 come from clawing. And use your body as the zombie body is like a Swiss Army knife. It has so many different weapons that you can use. You can bite, you can claw, you you can grab. You can actually projectile vomit up to 6 feet, which is very lethal. So there's this. Yeah, that's probably my favorite illustration in the whole book is the projectile vomiting chart, which shows the average and then the above average, and then it shows like the zombie on the left side. It's like he's standing, 6 feet, average 6 feet tall, and he's projectile vomiting onto the chart, and kind of shows different lengths that they can get.
So the above average projectile vomiting, is that coming because you list 3 body types of zombies? What zombie type would the advanced projectile vomiting come from?
I just kind of, the way I wrote it was just kind of like, I think it was like 1 in 6 or something like that. It's like has this ability that he can go up to 8 feet. I would have to say, referencing the body types in there was the boomer type, which is the large pear-shaped.
Yeah.
They're going to have the most in their body cavity to expel.
Might be a lot more food.
And then, the body types I kind of go off of. I show the different body types and, which each body type has a place in a zombie mob. So it's like the thin little one, maybe he's the tracker and he can get into tight spaces, but he has to eat frequent. He can't eat, he can't postpone eating. And then there's the average body type, and he's the strong one of the group, and there's the big one, and he blocks the bullets, and he is, I don't know, I was kind of saying it's like after you do the absorption of the human flesh, it actually goes through a relaxed sphincter. So it leaves behind trails of, remnants of, flesh that's been already extracted of all its purposes. But this is toxic. So like the larger zombie, he leaves these toxic minefields everywhere for the human resistance.
So with the waste, kind of like I guess a bird or an owl, a raptor would leave behind, the carcass remains. They are toxic, and if put into a wound or consumed or by anything, they can also transfer the virus that way as well.
Yep, correct. And then, of course, organ transplants are another way, which it's an atypical. It's like it's the least common way. And mosquitoes, of course, is another way. So, and then physical relationship. Physical. Getting close to one another is another way.
That'd be kind of hard to explain to the significant other. It's bad enough, like if you have syphilis or something, but I don't know how you would.
The Z virus, no.
I have the Z virus.
Yeah. And then back in the infection chapter, we talked about that a little bit. It kind of gives a diagram of if you infect a human, how many seconds they actually have to. Because Z virus is incurable. But if you infect the arm, you have 5 seconds before you cut off the arm and you could survive. So, and it kind of talks about if the arm's lacerated in the correct spot, the heart can squirt up to 30-some feet. A functioning heart if it's done correctly. And it kind of just talks about all the ins and outs of the human body and how fast the circulatory system actually works. And in 20 seconds, it's pumped through your body. How many times and how many miles of veins that is. And
I mean, you definitely do a lot of research because you get into warm weather, water, cold, all different types of terrain types, how they affect the body and circulation and all that as well. Mm-hmm. So I mean, there's nothing left out of this book at all. When you become a zombie, this is definitely by far the best handbook. And I'm not just saying that because right now it's the only handbook. I'm saying this is the best, the best handbook to be if you're a zombie or soon will be.
Well, it's like a couple people ask me, it's like, why are you writing a book for zombies? I mean, it's like, that's kind of crazy. And I'm like, well, yeah, it is a little bit. But who knows zombies better than zombies,
Yeah.
So.
And I think it's a great idea. And I think that's the way the zombie genre is going because, like I mentioned last week, we interviewed the director for the movie All Zombies, which is pretty much a film where the zombies are the main characters and not just the shambling,
I'll have to check it out. Yeah, I'm not familiar with it, but it sounds really interesting.
Yeah, it's a hilarious film. I think you'll enjoy it. And now with this, I think this is the way it's going. There's a book that we're going to be reviewing in a couple of weeks called Married with Zombies, So it's just I mean, it's going all over.
Al Bundy of zombies. Is that kind of like what's playing off of Married with Children?
It's very interesting. It's a good book.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
And you mentioned it's a zombie movement in your book and in this interview. So if it's a movement, and just like with any movement, they get stronger and they grow until they succeed what they're trying to achieve, like if it's a rights movement. What happens next? I mean, if the zombie movement grows, is the next step zombie nation states, or what is it?
Well, it all depends on the intelligence level of the mob, I would think. The zombies that are reading this book, yeah, there maybe could be some kind of hierarchy, some low-level kindergarten civilization kind of. But, yeah, the last chapter is the end is near. Because let's say you've accomplished everything in this book and you're a zombie and you pretty much dominate the world. Now what are you supposed to do? You know, it's like you've eaten up all your food source. It's, so I have a chapter where it's like zombie suicides. You know, it's like if you just want to end it, you're all done. You know, you killed enough people and there's no more brains to be eaten. It's like just jump off of a building. Hopefully it's like you get some kind of like head blunt trauma and you'd be dead, or you can always leap in a fire. You know, it's like
it's kind of like what they did on Return of the Living Dead, where he puts himself into the incinerator at the morgue.
Yeah, it's like just end it all.
Yeah.
It's like you're done.
It's awesome. It's excellent.
So, I have flashcards actually. So if a zombie wanted to cut them out, they could just put them in their pocket, the back pocket, for when the end is near.
I want to see that in real life, where zombies. I say in real life, but but
I think it'd be similar to I think there was a Far Side cartoon where it's like all the lemmings are at the cliff and they just keep falling over one lemming by because lemmings follow each other and then they just fall off these cliffs. So it'd just be like the first zombie would fall off and then the next 300 would just follow them.
Yeah, but they wouldn't die, so it'd be all right.
Yeah, exactly.
So what's next on your project list? I see that.
And then also it's like towards the end, it's like what happens if the human resistance does take over and you get stuck in captivity. It kind of talks about escaping in captivity and different things you can do. And you wouldn't think about it, but a zombie needs diagrams for opening up a door handle. So it's like there's like how they use a ladder. It's like the steps. So it kind of illustrates like things that we use every day, of course, that we just know. But a door handle to a zombie, they have no idea what that is.
Yeah. It's like starting life all over again. So
yeah,
totally
but if, a velociraptor can open up in Jurassic Park, why can't a zombie? So.
they just learn they can get it. And I think this book will help zombies everywhere by far.
Yeah.
But you've written several other books. You've done Many Weapons of Mass Destructions. I love the Office prank books.
Yeah.
So what is your next project that you're working on?
Yeah, I'm working on it right now. I'm sitting in my office. It's another mini weapons book. The first mini weapon of mass destruction is doing really well. It's basically take your recyclable items, things you discard, and you're making catapults and slingshots and all these little weapons that are tabletop weapons. And right now I'm working on one that's kind of similar, but it's a James Bond theme. So it's like the first chapter is sidearms and handguns. The next one's villain weapons and weapons in disguise, and they're all based off of like the James Bond movies and Mission Impossible and Austin Powers, stuff like that. So it's like 35 different little builds, hundreds of drawings. So
it's pretty awesome, and it leads me to believe that a Hasbro professional toy maker sitting in the office is doing this really to the person sitting next to it.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like a slow week.
You're in an office with a bunch of toy designers, like 70 super creative people. A lot of stuff happens, in the gray area. And it's like you're in the toy industry, so you can't take it too serious either. So,
yeah.
It's very likely that you open up a desk drawer and find a muffin in there that was left in there like 3 months ago from one of your coworkers just to be funny. So it's like you just kind of live with it,
Yeah.
It's like throw the muffin away and get to your emails and start drawing toys.
The Cubicle Warfare book, the video that's on your site, johnaustinbooks.com, the BB coffee cup is genius, but so evil.
Yeah, it is a mess. We did that once to a coworker at Hasbro, and we get in the opposing cubicle, and we heard him come back from lunch. He throws his keys on the desk, and then it's like, you know, you can hear him kind of shuffling around, and then we left a coffee cup, which has a hollow bottom, and it's full of 1,000 little those pellets, those little BBs. And he picks it up, and you can just hear the cascade, like, and then it's like a couple bleeps, you know, a couple swear words, and then, and, you know, we're kind of adults, I would say. Maybe we fall in that category. And we're like, we can't even hold it in anymore. It's like we're crying our sides hurt. It's so stupid, it's funny, basically. But, yeah, it's like the Martha Stewart of pranks. You know, it takes a little cutting, a little hot gluing, and you have to set it up, and it's a couple seconds, and it's a great time.
But it's worth it. So.
Oh, yeah, that book has got like 100-some office pranks, and they're all illustrated too. So
very nice. Very nice.
Yeah, that was a pretty cool project.
So do you have an idea of making toys to do a zombie line? Or I guess that's up to the
right now. No, it's like I just pretty much do all the brands that Hasbro owns. So like the Star Wars, Transformers. Worked a little bit on Captain America, the movie that's coming out.
Nice.
And, just pretty much follow what their brand direction is.
Yeah.
So. But yeah, I think it'd be awesome if it's like G.I. Joe versus zombies, you know, something like that would be very cool.
It would be cool. I mean,
yeah, I mean the great thing about the old cartoon, the G.I. Joe, I don't know if you remember, it's like people were actually, you know, being shot. I mean, that's crazy. It's a cartoon. But, you know, that cartoon disappeared for that main reason. But nobody cares if you shoot a couple thousand zombies, dude. I mean, that's the great thing about the theme of zombies. It's like you can mow down hundreds of people just for the fun of it. And, hey, they're zombies. Who cares?
Everybody's cheering for it.
Like, nobody cares. So, yeah, it's definitely there's some potential there.
Yeah.
And I think that's why the genre, it's like, it's so popular, you know? It's like, I don't know.
It really is, because last night, I mean, we were talking about earlier on the program that Sears, if you go to Sears.com, they have a zombie page where their products are being modeled by zombies, and their cookware has brains in there, and it's, you know, it's being sold to zombies.
Oh, that's great.
So it's really everywhere. And last night we had an event called Survive Norfolk, and 1,700 people descended into this area, and it was a big game of tag zombies versus survivors.
Yeah, I saw that on your Facebook page. Yeah, I was reading about that. It was very cool.
It was the first time they've done it. They're planning on doing it again next year, but it was so successful and fun. So, I mean,
and you know, they're making a lot of big movies right now, and for the next couple of years, for sure, it's gonna be huge. You know, it's like the World War Z, and they're gonna probably do Max's The Survival Guide. You know, Paramount bought those rights, and I heard that they're making another quarantine movie. So.
Zombieland's in the working. Zombieland 2.
Oh yeah, Zombieland 2. Yeah, it was gonna be awesome.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's gonna be here for a couple of years for sure.
Yeah.
I don't see it going away anytime soon.
Well, that's the beauty of zombies, though. I mean, it's kind of even throughout the history of the horror movie genre, that they've always been in the background. They've always just kind of been lurking in the shadows, and there's it doesn't matter how many movies come out, there's always a good pocket of zombie films that come out, you know,
because
straight to DVD.
Scary.
But
I mean, they are so scary. Like, especially the way that they've evolved and popped up. I mean, they're jumping, you know, 10 feet up, and it's like you shoot them 12 times, and they're still chasing you. It's like, that's crazy, you know. It's like they got you at the end of your, you know, the end of your seat, and yeah, exactly. I mean, there's always a good formula for a good zombie movie out there, and.
So what is your favorite zombie film?
They haven't even, you know, kind of fooled around with, you know, zombies versus the Romans, or a Viking campaign, you know, stumbles onto a zombie camp, you know, it's like stuff like that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's like huge pockets of history that they haven't even touched yet.
It's an open universe. I mean, the only thing they've talked about so far is we've hit Nazi zombies, and that's as far deep in history we've gone.
Yep.
I mean,
which is very scary.
Yeah. So what is your favorite zombie film?
Well, you know, 28 Days is pretty awesome.
Yeah.
I just like that guy wakes up and it's like him versus the world. You know, it's like It's just, he's got to make it by himself. He doesn't know what's going on. He's not really trained in, mercenary weaponry and stuff like that. And I just kind of really like that movie for that reason.
Yeah. It's definitely a good movie.
And then Shaun of the Dead and stuff like that. It's really cool. And Zombieland was awesome. I love that movie.
Yeah.
So
it's sad about Bill Murray though.
Bill Murray.
And I guess your book kind of points out that a little bit of, especially with the checklist. If Bill Murray used your checklist.
Part, what's not a zombie? People that pretend to be zombies. It's like, and I think originally in the manuscript I called them Bill Murray types.
Yeah.
But they didn't understand the reference, so I think they took it out for that reason.
Yeah.
Which is too bad because that's kind of one that's like the Murray types, kind of coined that phrase. Bill Murray gets shot. That's horrible.
It's sad. But yeah, awesome. So what do you think about the 3D movies that are coming out, like all the horror films? And are you a 3D movie fan?
I haven't seen. I don't know. I'm kind of a fan of Saw, but it's like Saw 3D. It's another way to get me in the movie theater. So everybody just really cashing out with 3D, which is amazing because that all can be done in post-production. So they can film a movie and go back and convert it to 3D, which is amazing to me.
Oh, see, that's everybody here, or I say everybody. There's me and a couple other people in the chat room. We are diehard 3D fans. I've collected 3D movies since I was, a kid, and we're so against 2D 3D conversions. unless it's CG, unless the movie's completely CGI, then it's different because it's all computers. But for live action, we're totally against it because we haven't seen it done properly yet.
Yeah.
It's
like I went to Avatar 3D, and I was impressed, but I kind of was sitting there wearing the glasses, and I was like, what does this look like in 2D? It's like I wanted to almost go back to it and see, how good is this movie in 2D?
Yeah.
I went to the 3D one because the 2D was sold out, so I was kind of forced to, but I was like, it's okay.
Yeah.
I guess the best part is, though, it's like you look over and you see your wife wearing those 3D glasses, and they look so nerdy, and you're like, awesome.
I have a folder on my computer. I've seen so many 3D movies, but every time I go, I take a picture of whoever's with me when they're wearing the 3D glasses. So I have a whole collection.
Probably the best part by far. It's like, they're just so awesome. It's like, yeah.
So I want to make a coffee table book one day just of that.
Unfortunately, now they wipe them and they reuse them. It's like back in the day, you went to Freddy Krueger 3D.
Yeah.
You got to take those glasses home. It's like put those on my shelf and that was awesome.
I definitely do miss that. But there are talks. I don't know how much of it's really truth that they're going to kind of bring that back and have films are going to come out with designer 3D glasses just for certain films. But I do miss
for that experience.
Yeah,
it's like keeping a ticket stub of a great game or something like that.
Yeah, because that was the beauty of the old Anaglyph 3D. Because
I'm sure Apple will come out with i3D glasses, and they're like $200, and you just buy them and wear them to all these movies.
Well, Ray-Ban and all the other major sunglasses companies already have their version of 3D glasses that you can buy.
Okay, yeah.
So that's good.
Ray-Ban. Yeah.
But if you want a book that is in 3D, just go over to johnaustensbooks.com, pick up So You Now You're a Zombie, a handbook for the Newly Undead, which is an excellent, excellent book. Enjoyed it greatly. We should do a contest on Zombie Popcorn and give out a book. I guess I'd have to talk to your publishers from that, which is Chicago Review Press.
Yeah, they've been great, and if you guys are all for doing a contest, it's like you can easily email them and talk to them, and I'm sure that they would donate a couple copies.
That'd be cool. I think we'll do that. We'll have a contest up there very soon.
Mm-hmm.
Anything else you want to add?
Halloween night.
What's that?
Thanks for I said just Halloween night you could have the contest. Thanks for the interest, and I'm glad you like the book. It's like it's coming from a different point of view, and I think some people that are, I don't know, I should say brainwashed, but it's like it's just a different way to view the zombie itself. So
yeah. I think it's great. Everybody, I highly recommend you going out to purchase this. You can get this. You can actually get it from his website, or you can get it from his publisher's website, which is ipgbook.com or chicagoreviewpress.com, and it's at Barnes & Noble's, Amazon, and anywhere that books are sold. Definitely go pick this out. Make this a good Halloween present for somebody and for yourself. Well, John Austin, thank you so much for coming on Zombie Popcorn.
Yeah, thanks a lot. I really appreciate it.
Yeah. If there's anything else you have in the future, keep us in the loop on it. I'll be glad to hear about it, especially if you come out with zombie line of toys.
Awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely keep you in the loop if anything comes up in the zombie.
Excellent.
Okay.
Well, have a good night.
Have a great night. Appreciate everybody.
Yeah.
Good night, Zombie Popcorn.
Night. Excellent. That was John Austin from the writer of So Now You're a Zombie, a handbook for the newly undead. His website is johnaustinbooks.com. He has this book, which is an excellent book, and then as we talked about in the show, or in the interview, his other books, which are just pretty much practical jokes that you can play on your coworkers, which is phenomenal. So everybody should hand out and get that. John Austin, very nice guy, as you heard. So support these wonderful people who are supporting zombies. I'm going to take a little break real quick, play one song, and then we'll be right back. This is Zombie Popcorn Radio. All right, now we're back. Let me get my headphones on. Oh, let me mute that. All right. So that was awesome. What do you say? Hey, Eric, how you doing? Welcome to the chat room. Welcome to Zombie Popcorn. Oh, tonight he says after he carves the pumpkin, he's gonna watch Vampire Girl versus Frankenstein Girl. Did you get it on DVD? That is awesome. Such a great movie. You gotta let me know what you think of it. Anyway, so that was John Austin with his book, So Now You're a Zombie, a handbook for the newly undead. Excellent interview. Very nice guy. I love that he works for Hasbro Toys. That's just awesome. He needs to make zombie toys for sure. Well, what are you saying, 3D Movie Man? Oh, Eric, Trick or Treat is a classic. That is such a good movie. If you haven't seen that yet, you need to get it on Netflix. You need to go out and buy it. I think we talked about it a couple of weeks ago that you could get it for like $3 or $6. I can't remember what the price was, but I'm sure the price is still pretty good. Should definitely go get it. It's a good film. Let me get a drink here. So, if you're just tuning in, we just interviewed John Austin, and I am the only one here. Paul is not with us tonight. Welcome everybody to the chat room. Eric, Jen, 3D Movie Man. So, what did you get your movie yet, 3D Movie Man? I don't know if you did, but anyway, this is our 51st show tonight. Is actually, believe it. It's pretty crazy. We've done 51 shows. I'm glad you like it. It is a very funny movie. When we're talking about Aw Zombies, which is a great movie that we talked about last time. And if you missed, the interview we just did with John Austin, you can go to johnaustinbooks.com and pick up So Now You're a Zombie, a handbook for the newly undead. Anyway, great. So, let's get back to where we were. It's freaking hair. My favorite part of that movie is when he's sitting in there and he's, the group, and then they walk into the bar and he's sitting there hanging out at the bar, and they're like, "Are you eating that dude's brain?" Fucking hilarious. But yeah, so what? I want to do 2 trailers real quick. The first one, did we do? Oh, yeah, we did. The first trailer is a film that's coming out this Christmas with Jim Carrey, and I'm not a big fan of Jim Carrey. In fact, I don't think I remember a film that I've enjoyed that he was in. But there's a new film called I Love You, Phillip Morris, which actually, I think me and Miley talked about this a bit, and she said, and I totally reflect her thoughts on this, that it's very good because it's an original film in terms of the plot, and as far as I know, I mean, I don't know any other film out there that has this story plot, and it's actually really, really, really good. So let's play that trailer real quick. This is I Love You, Phillip Morris.
And finally, I would like to thank you for this man, Jesus. This man who pursued me to the ends of the earth, who worked so hard to make us happy. Oh, what fun it is to ride. Amen.
Amen.
It's just sometimes I want to cry when I think about how happy I am.
Oh, what fun it is.
I'm gonna come. Do it, man. Yeah, I'm gay. Have been as long as I can remember.
What do you say? I see a wiener. Oh, I see it.
Of course, it was a delicate situation, so I'd have to find the right way to break it to Debbie.
You're what?
Gay, 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 gay. It didn't take me long to realize being gay is really expensive. So I became a con man.
Cash or charge?
Charge. Credit card fraud. I was selling bad tomatoes. Anything to make a buck. Maybe it wasn't the right thing to do.
When I called all your references, well, they couldn't speak more highly of you.
I cannot speak more highly about Stephen Russell. Maybe it wasn't the moral thing to do.
You on the lam again?
You always knew me best, but I had no choice.
Calm down.
Fuck you! Calm down! Calm you fucking down!
Stephen Russell, you are sentenced to 25 years.
My name is Stephen Russell.
Nice to meet you, Stephen Russell. My name is Phillip Morris.
This is destiny.
What the hell is that?
Well, that is the screecher next door. I don't get any sleep ever. Did you pay to have the screecher beat up?
Yeah.
That is the most romantic thing that anyone ever did for me.
We'll be together soon, I promise.
How do you keep escaping prison?
I have an early release order for Phillip Morris.
And you are?
I'm his lawyer.
We want you to be our chief financial officer.
How big was this Christmas bonus?
Pretty big.
In July?
Yeah, I thought it was weird too.
Jesus has a plan for you.
Well, maybe this is his plan. Oh, that's Jesus on the other line.
Golf? Wish me luck. Why don't you just eat pussy?
Fuck me with a flaming fist!
Is the gay thing and stealing something that goes hand in hand, or...
Okay, so that was I Love You, Phillip Morris. So that's coming out this Christmas, so it looks interesting. I know it's not a horror movie, but I played that because I miss Paul. No, I'm just kidding. Haha, yay! But yeah. Anyway, so that's it. I think what we're going to do tonight, I want to play one more trailer, and then we're going to go into part 2 of a interview that we started a couple of weeks ago, and that's the interview with Kevin Seconds, the lead singer for the band 7 Seconds. We'll continue that interview later, but there's a movie coming out called Unknown, and it looks really good. It's about a man who wakes from a coma only to discover that someone has taken his identity. Not an original movie plot there, but the trailer itself looks great, and I want to take a second to play that.
Did you sleep?
No. I'll sleep at the hotel.
Welcome to Berlin.
Can you tell me what you remember?
I was in a taxi. I crashed. I don't know how I got here.
You have been in a coma for 4 days. We couldn't find any identification with you. What's your name?
I'm Dr. Martin Harris. I've been gone for 4 days. My wife is out there in the city. She doesn't know.
Excuse me, sir. Do you have an invitation?
That's my wife over there. Liz.
Do I know you?
What's wrong? It's me. Your husband.
Martin.
You are Dr. Martin Harris?
Last time I looked. Is this some kind of a joke?
You know this man?
No.
Please.
Get him out of here.
Liz! Liz!
There are no rules with severe trauma of this kind. Memories get lost or fractured.
I'm not crazy. Somewhere there's proof. I'm me. I was in your taxi. We crashed.
How did you find me?
I need to know what happened.
It's not safe for you. There are people watching.
They had me convinced I was crazy. But when they came to take me, I knew. It's a simple code.
These mean anything to you?
It's my wife's writing. They have passports, credit cards, family photos.
You really don't remember anything.
Get your hands off me!
Who are these people? They can become anyone.
The question is, why would they want to take your place?
I don't know who this man is. But you have to arrest him, or many people will die.
There is no Martin Harris. He doesn't exist.
I am Martin Harris. I didn't forget everything.
The movie is called Unknown. So what are you talking about in the chat room here? You're talking about Once Bitten? I don't think I've seen that movie either. What is that film? You say it's a 1980s vampire dance-off? I think I'm going to have to pull up the trailer for this because I don't think I've seen this. Let's check it out. This is Once Bitten. Give it a play. Anyway. Hello? Anyway.
Mark Kendall was a regular guy.
Let me back it up a bit. Mark Kendall was a regular guy from Once Bitten. Come on. Why is that? This is what happens when I pull up stuff. Daily Motion does that to me all the time. Let me see if I can find it on YouTube. There we go. I'm going to do this. Eric says that this film was from the 80s and it's one of Jim Carrey's first movies.
Guy. Get me out of here! With normal problems.
I want to, but I want it to be special.
But Mark's just discovered.
Hello, tall, dark, and handsome.
Oh, wait, I have
one
seen
night
this.
stand
I haven't had anything this pure since the Vienna Boys Choir hit town.
has been around for centuries.
I'm 390 years old.
400 if you're a day. Mark Kendall is necking
Finally happened.
with a vampire.
Did I enjoy it?
Now he's losing his girl,
Bit my lip.
his customers,
Get out of here!
his image,
Look, I'm not there.
and his mind.
Oh, wow, I love your outfits.
I'm not wearing a costume.
Mark's got to choose
It's like you're not the Mark I thought I knew. You look like Jerry Lewis.
between his first love
I'm the owner of the pants you've been trying to get into for the last 4 years.
and his last date.
How would you like to spend eternity with me?
I can't. I gotta go to college.
Before his future goes up in smoke.
How'd you like your crotch set on fire? Ooh, rough trade.
Nothing is sacred in a tasty comedy
Can I have one of those uncooked ones?
you can sink your teeth into.
How was it?
Delicious.
Once bitten.
I don't want to be a vampire. I'm the day person.
You know what? That's funny because I never knew he was in that. I mean, I remember seeing it, but I guess since it was one of his first films, nobody Unless you look back at it in hindsight, that nobody cared that was Jim Carrey. But yeah, I do remember that movie now. That's funny. And I didn't remember because I didn't ever think that it was Jim Carrey. So that's pretty awesome. So while were we talking about that, you said that I don't know. I was trying to find out why that came up in the topic, but yeah, Once Bitten is pretty funny. Oh, there was something. Oh, yeah. So, what we're going to do is, once I get this queued up, we're going to return to an interview that I did a couple weeks back. And we did the first half of it. And now we're going to do finish it up. And that's with Kevin Seconds, the lead singer of 7 Seconds. And this is the second half of the interview with him. Here we go. So enjoy. Here's Kevin Seconds in our interview, part 3. If so, we'll have fun with it.
There's Johnny.
All right, we're now in location number 3. We're by the beach. We have a nice breeze coming in, and hopefully we won't be disturbed again. If so, we'll have fun with it.
There's a giant statue of Neptune illuminated behind Kevin Seconds' head.
It's kind of homoerotic, but but that's a different interview. What were we talking about? We were all over the place.
Yeah. We're talking about how to interpret when people tell you that your art has fundamentally improved their lives.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you tend to try and pull it back to them because, I mean, honestly, there's no way you can believe that you were really, I mean, in my life, I don't think that, like, whatever I've created, it does that. I think it's just what people bring to you, and that openness, and all these doors open, the same way it did for me the first time I heard your records.
Right.
You know, and for you when you first heard Sam 69 records, and like
something triggers this thing, a thought or feeling.
It just opens you up, and it's like if anything, that's the feeling. You're just carrying that on through you.
Yeah.
You're just this conduit for this message and this greater idea of openness.
Absolutely. I couldn't have put it better. So ask me. I asked him instead because he's going to say something.
I was just trying to elaborate.
What would you think if we asked Kevin Seconds?
Thomas, you want to take this?
Yes. The answer is yes.
Yes. All right. Cool. I've lost my train of thought here.
So this isn't your first foray into acoustic music. Like did you have other projects with other names?
Yes. Yeah. Many. My wife and I we've had so many. We had a thing called Mustard. We had a band. We had to do a thing called Waterbed Cult. These are all like projects that anyone outside of a very small part of Sacramento has never heard. And we were like, when we met, she managed a coffee house, and I had my best friend worked there. And at the time, midtown Sacramento was where we lived. That was sort of the hub of where the artists, the musicians, and like the freaks lived. Basically, it was cheap then. And it's not so cheap anymore. But we used to go gather at this one spot because there wasn't a lot of places to hang out after 8 o'clock at night in Sacramento. Everything would close up, so this one coffee house would stay open. And it literally would be just teeming with people. Like, people would just go there. It was like a social center. But we would meet, a bunch of us would meet there. A couple of people would get off work there, and then we'd go play midnight basketball. That was like our thing. Everybody would show up there, and then we'd all ride our bikes or get in one van and go over to this little neighborhood where there'd be a court that was like lit and safe, and no one would fuck. Cops wouldn't fuck us. So I started realizing that I liked my current wife, and we got along really well, and we started talking, and one night I saw her sing with a friend of ours, and I was like, oh my God, it's like, she's beautiful, she's intelligent, she's really funny, she's got a voice from heaven, so I was just like, I finally have somebody I can sing with, because it's like one of those things. I'd sit at home with my acoustic guitar, and I would just be like, I'd record on my little 4-track, and I'd do all the harmonies, but it was just like, it'd be so great to have this great female vocalist on here, but didn't really know anybody, so that's how it worked out. And from day one, we were always singing and recording and playing together, and I hosted an open mic for 9 years. Oh, sorry. I hosted an open mic for 9 years, and I decided to, instead of just being a host and be like, okay, next up I wanted to be like take what I've sort of gained in punk rock shows and be kind of challenged, but not be super critical. You know, like I wanted to be more than just like, here's a guy doing Dave Matthews covers, you know, like
right.
You know, and so those open mics are really they caught on. They're really good, and it really plugged me into like the singer-songwriter part of everything. You know, like it made me appreciate the singer-songwriter thing, and I was just always playing, and then finally I was like, wow, you know, it'd be fun to kind of do this on my own, you know, outside of the Sacramento thing, because, you know, people in my hometown, like, they know I'm in 7 Seconds, but they're not as impressed because I've done so many other things in Sacramento, like I've done radio, and so it's kind of fun because it's like, you know, like if I like being at that level with people who don't have any real concept.
Yeah,
there's something really, and in your hometown where you could just be left the fuck alone. You know, like I can go to the store and, you know, not be bothered by people going, dude, you're Kevin Second. You know, like it's not a, you know, and you know, not that happens all the time, but I'm just saying, you know, it's kind of nice. So anyway, yeah.
I love when people go and be like, dude, you're you. And you're like, true. I live with this burden every day. Tell me something different.
Yeah, exactly. I just, the worst time of that was we were at a Safeway. You guys have Safeway stores? Safeways out here? We were at a Safeway, and my wife and I, and we just had paid with the 18 thing, and the guy behind us just kept looking over, and I was just like, oh, man. And usually, I think it's going to be, people go, hey, man, I like your tattoos. You know, they always, like, tattoos is like this big thing to break the ice and like weird, but I thought it would be a tattoo thing, and then he goes, you're Kevin Seconds. And it was like Saturday night, there was like a line of kids or people waiting to buy their beer at the last minute, and like, first of all, no one cared, you know, most people could care less or know who I am, but just those words coming out so loudly in a public thing is like, I'm just going like hey, yeah, you do it, you know, it's just really like, you know, like I know people that are so good with that kind of shit, like just who like, I don't know, just, you know, they could do something more fun with it, but I'm just like, how you doing?
It's hard when you can't expect it all the time, you know. No, you're great with it.
It's ridiculous.
I mean, it worked well for us as Murphy's.
Yeah,
look at that, you know. Maybe, you know, excuse me, do you know who we are?
We're doing it. It's very important.
Do you know who this is? So, while you're on the road doing the acoustic solo tour, you talked about you do a podcast or you do recordings. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, I started doing a podcast like it was pretty early on, like 2006, like really early on. Like I started hearing about them, and I just thought, wow, this is right up my alley. I got to get into this. And I couldn't figure out how to do all the, you know, to make it, how to get it from like an MP3 to, you know, get it so that it would like people could subscribe to it and stuff like that. But yeah, I just did the thing. I decided, because I was in my car a lot and I was either traveling or like I had a couple side jobs delivering stuff. Like, so I was like, you know, I'm always kind of like driving and I'm sort of like thinking out loud, or I'm thinking and I want to put something on tape. So I would just go, hey, I'm doing this thing, and it was really stupid bullshit. Like it was like literally me going, you know, yeah, man, shit, I got into it with this, you know, because we were opening up our coffee house, our second location, and I was bitching about my business partner. I was like, I think I made a bad mistake, you know, I think I'm, you know, and I would just put them up there, and then I thought, no one's listening to this, you know, like, why do I even do this? But then, like, I'd have someone go, dude, you didn't do your episode this week. What's, you know, I really love those. And I'd be like, really? Like, but it also, I'm also pretty open book kind of guy. Like, I post stuff that I probably, you know, just personal stuff that I probably should think twice about. Like, you know, I just don't think about
It doesn't matter.
you know,
it's awesome. It's like a part of the
but it gets me in trouble in a lot of ways. And like, in ways like, there was this kind of person that is, you know, who's been a long time 7 Seconds fan, which is great, and we've written letters and emails and stuff over the years. But like, he apparently was reading my podcast, and he remembers or hearing my podcast, and he was like, he approached me recently because he was having problems in his life, and he said, well, and he got my number and called me, and he's like, you know, I just want to get your advice, and I'm like, dude, I can't give you advice, you know, like,
Dr. Seconds.
Yeah, like I'm like, I'm not that guy, like if you want to shoulder the crying, you kind of have to come to Sacramento. I have to go out there. I'm not going to sit on the phone. I'm not a phone guy, and I really don't know what to say to you. Like if you want to talk, it was very awkward, and I didn't want to be. I'm not in a position to where I feel like I could do anything but just listen, and stuff. And so I tried to do that, but he was like, no, because I remember in your podcast, you and Allison were having a tough time and things were going, and you said, and I'm like, did I say that? Like, what was I thinking? It's like, and so that kind of stuff has happened a few times, and it's really weird. Like, it's like, that's where I start to get, not creeped out, but I just feel like, like I kind of don't want to be filtered. I kind of want to just do it as I do, because I enjoy it, and it's like a form of expressing. But I don't know how to, it's like what you're talking about. I don't know how to, I don't know what to do with it when it like people take it and then turn it back, like I don't know what to do with that. I just have no idea, like,
Well, like you love being an observer and an interpreter, and it's cool to have a communication with the world.
Yeah.
It's something to have people lay their whole reality at your feet.
Right. That's
Seems like you didn't sign up for that.
Well, people do that with lyrics too all the time, like the silliest things. Like I hate sports. We had it on our first 7-inch. I hate sport. Come on. But I have a basketball tattoo on my fucking leg, and I have this whole concept of basketball, and it's not, I'm the furthest thing from a jock I could ever be. I'm not even good. But I just have this, there's, over the years I've had this whole thing of like, I do that with like European soccer too. It's like, it's not sports, man. It's like art, like I have this whole dumb thing. And I know only a few people will just, indulge me and let me rave on about it. But you would not believe the amount of arguments I've gotten into people. But it's like, it just seems like really hypocritical that you got, And it's like, oh my, and so, it's like, man, it's just like, what happened to, or even Young Till I Die, people just take it and they,
that's real strange.
It's so bizarre. Like, what, did you think I was never going to get old? Like, you think
you got gray hair, man?
How did you do that to me? It's like, yeah, like
you grew up.
And it's like, and I also, I talk about it, and someone hit me up about it, like, recently. I said, dude, you were talking a lot about your age on stage, and I was like, I'm not doing it because I'm embarrassed or like I'm doing it because it's like, fuck yeah, I'm almost 50 and I'm up here doing this shit, like you should be doing this shit, like you gotta move in and start, like I do at 7-second shows. It's like, we're fucking 40, we're in our 40s, I'm almost 50, and it's like there's no excuse, there's no excuse to be, like lazy and apathetic. It's like, if you have the desire to do something, don't let anything, and I feel like we could rest on it. We've been doing this forever. We should take it easy now. We deserve it. We worked our asses off, but we're really kind of not. And if we do, it's only because we can't go out and do what we used to do, physically and emotionally and mentally. So I don't know. It's funny how people take it and make
one of my friends who, is no longer straight edge, but was in a significant part of his life, maybe the most vulnerable part for adolescents in America, from like 17 to like 25. Mm-hmm. And he pretty much feels like if he was drinking and doing drugs and not living with that positive discipline, that it could have gone really badly for him and many other folks. And so that saved him, and so many people even who are no longer straight edge said that I was when I needed to be. Right. For those 10 years, oh goodness, it saved me. And now I have this other approach now when I look at the way people socialize so thoughtlessly with these poisons and stuff. And he was like, but I'm so happy to see that Kevin did not have a pint of beer on the bar selection on that stage. Just because it meant so much, even though he was no longer straight edge anymore. But it was really important for him to know that you were still living that.
Yeah, like people go, do you drink now? Do you not drink still? And I'm like, no, and you can tell they're really, and it's the same thing. They'll have a bit, like they just want to.
They're so happy
sort of
that
know
you're
that
not.
this thing that that they remember about, and I think it's for some reason I think I like that, but it is a weird thing.
It's cool.
It's just.
It's a good value.
It doesn't make it's just one of those things. You could sit and talk to a million people that are your peer group, people that and you respect, and and everybody sort of goes, yeah, I really don't know, I just do what makes you happy, and it's true, it's that thing of like that feeling of like, how is, I don't even know how to explain. It hurts my brain to think about it sometimes. It's gotten better, I try and just like, I try to just I am grateful. I am like to hear people go, oh, you probably hear this all the time, but and it's like but it's not really. It's cool that you thank you for the kind words. It's just when there's an expectation after that, and I don't like there seems to be this with some people where over the years, not so much anymore, but like when we were really touring a lot and there was like, I think our name was out there a lot. I think people just expected some. I don't know what they expected, and I always thought like you're kind of missing the point. Like the whole point is that we're like just doing this because this is helpful for us. This is how we're dealing with shit, and if it inspires you or whatever, it should just inspire you to to get off your butt and do your own thing and do something that'll inspire and inspire and it does. That does happen, but
that's it.
That's it.
That's excellent.
He's stunned. He's
stunned.
I'm stunned with
I can't say anything after that.
I can't.
You've broken my brain, Timmy.
I was just thinking about beer. No, I'm just kidding.
All this talk of beer made me want to go get fucked up. I was the one really interesting thing I don't know if we talked about this the other night, that I'm discovering that I'm having a hard time with is that I'm realizing that for years, 7 Seconds has never played, I think we played in our entire thing, we played 2 21 and over shows, and that's only because we'd play a first show that was, in order to do a show, we used to do that at, in Minneapolis, I remember we did.
Yeah.
And that's the only time we've ever done it.
Some whole countries, used to do 2 shows in every city, in Canada,
right.
Australia.
Right, yeah, Canada was, I remember it was like that, really big time, but, so for years it's just been no, all ages, all and I still especially when I first started doing this acoustic solo thing years back, I was like, I'd say to Margie, I want to play all ages shows, and she'd just be like, well, I'll see what I can do, and but I'm noticing that I tend to, what I'm doing now tends to sort of be accepted and I don't know if it's understood, but it resonates a little better with older people who are drinking at a bar. It's really, and it's fucking crazy to get my mind wrapped around that, because I'm still, sober, and but it's crazy. It started going to England, when I went to England a few years back, I went there and it was just all these crazy pub,
total pub,
and everybody's raising, they get their pints and they're singing, and I'm like, they're singing lyrics and they don't even know them, but they're having so much fun. I'm loving this, and I remember going I'm the one guy that's I'm having the least amount of fun. They're all having a great time, and but it was really fun because it's I just never expected that. I never I always wondered, because I always wondered, Tim Barry, when he comes to West Coast, he always plays just bars, these little bars. Yeah. Chuck Reagan, the same thing. And I'm like, why do they just, I get it, because they're big drinking guys, and that's part of the community, everybody is hoisting the glass up. I couldn't understand it, I'm like, wow, that would be kind of a bummer, but I'm like, I kind of get it now in a way. I'm celebrating, but just by singing. I'm not going, hey, cheers, everybody.
And there's probably some adults in the audience who aren't drinkers, but it's sort of, it warms the room up. There's this vibe,
It's everyone's a little looser and a little more let's give it a shot. It's very strange, and I'm struggling a little bit with it. It's getting better, but I'm like, wow. Whenever I'll call my wife and I'll go, yeah, it's just. I didn't want to like the show, not tonight, but just, I just didn't want, I played the Milestone in Charlotte the other night, and I guess after Richmond, and I was like, I haven't been there, I don't know what to expect, and it was just people were smoking, the whole place was cigarette smoke, and I was like, this is just going to get on my nerves.
Savage, the Carolinas.
Yeah, but it was everybody's talking about barbecue. It was we're red. We love being red. It was really funny. I was talking to these conversations, but it was one of the funnest shows I played. Everybody was just drunk, but happy, and they were just smiling, and they'd pick up on a line maybe, and they'd start singing with me, and then it was one of the best shows I played in a long time, and I was just I can't believe that I love this show. This is just awesome. It's the craziest thing. So I know what it means. I'm growing up. I don't know.
It's just important to let yourself be surprised and kind of have to roll with it sometimes.
Right. That's it. It's nice to have some surprises.
Very nice. So where can people listen to your podcast?
I stopped doing it regularly about 2 years ago for the reason I was just talking about. It was starting to get weird. And then I just didn't have, I wasn't doing it consistently. But I always think about it. I just kind of do them. Everything right now is centered around. I have a website, but I always like right now my main way of communicating online is just Facebook, because it's just all the thing you can do everything kind of in one thing, and I have links to the music stuff. And I do I have a page where my art stuff is, but it's easier to just announce stuff like, hey, I'm doing I do. It's insane. I draw on camera and I do shows live so people can watch. It's just fun shit, and it's like through this thing called Justin TV. And
I thought you were gonna say Justin Timberlake.
And yeah, Justin Timberlake's a big influence on my art. He is.
So let's back up. You draw and it's filmed in real time.
Yeah. There's this thing, you know what Justin.tv is, or Ustream? They're just like live sites where anyone can sign up. You get an account, and as long as you're not doing anything like showing boobs and doing that stuff, you can kind of just do your own show. And most of it is just like, seriously, it's like young teenage girls, two girls looking, like the camera's pointing to them, so they're looking at the screen waiting for people to go, you guys are cute, or whatever. It's really dumb. But every once in a while, someone will try to do something really creative with it, like little shows or something. And I was really intrigued by the idea, because like you could go do a show, like right now, live. And it's really fun. Like it's fun to, I always look for the new people that just don't know what they're doing, and they're just going, so I'm doing a show. I don't know. There's something about it that's cool. But I've just been doing this thing where I started doing drawing, because I like to draw and paint, and I would draw stuff with a camera pointing downward, and then I would just talk about it. And then there's a little chat room, and then so people can come in there and go, dude, what are you drawing? And then you can say in your mic, oh, I'm drawing a dinosaur, or whatever. But what I found out is that it puts me sort of a little pressure on me when I draw, because it's like I'm drawing and people are watching, and it's kind of interesting that people will go, they'll throw in ideas, or they'll go, oh, I'm gonna go draw, and so it's kind of kickstarted a couple of people doing their own shows, like with their artwork and stuff, which is great, because then it's really fun. It's kind of weird because it's like I don't know what to do with it. It has been a good way of selling my artwork, which is really where I can, if I get done, someone will go, oh my god, you drew that in front of me, I want to buy it. I'm like, oh, okay, awesome. $500. No, it's just, so that kind of stuff has worked out pretty good. But so I like that kind of shit. I love and the radio thing that I've been doing is that I can just find an internet, in a signal somewhere. I did a show the other night, parked next to a McDonald's at a truck stop. I got their signal, and I just posted about an hour. I said, I think I'm going to do a live show tonight on my Facebook. Tune in at midnight East Coast time. So usually it's like I'm in California, so all started like at 8, and it's already kind of late on the East Coast. So this is kind of cool because people in the West Coast could hear it, and it was amazing. People actually showed up, and there's a little chat thing so people can go on and say, hey, I'm here, would you play the jam? And so I'll play music and talk. I talked about the tour and sort of yes, I don't know what it's for. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. It's just
well, we should definitely talk about this after the interview, because our radio show that we broadcast live, we do that, but we broadcast in 3D. So if you have the red and blue 3D glasses, you can actually see it in 3D.
Really?
Yeah, I have a 3D webcam that we broadcast.
No shit. Wow. Man, see? Well, that's not a good thing to know that exists, because I want one now.
So maybe we'll have...
That's cool.
Did you do the artwork for some 7 Seconds records?
Yeah, most of it. I mean, all the silly, little cartoony things, and like our little Ruben, our little face down there, you know what I'm talking about? That face, that guy, and...
Ruben. His name is Ruben. I didn't know that part. That's awesome.
It's ridiculous. I don't even know where that
What about the Socialist Revolution hand face?
That is that's Phyllis. That's my ex-girlfriend. Okay. Soul to Keep was kind of written her. But that whole thing I did, the little... I did this stuff with colored pencils, and I went and Xeroxed it, and then I painted it. It was me trying to be artistic and try to go for it. And then I did some cut and paste stuff. Like the hands were actually a Xerox of the hand.
Whose hands are they?
I think they're mine.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because let's see here for a second. So me and my friends Joe and Lori, we had this whole mythology about how there's a face on the hand,
Right.
but it gets hungry, and what are you gonna do? You have to feed it peas. And then we just had this whole thing about, and then eventually we would just stop talking about it, and we just see each other like at a show or something, and we just do this. Feed the hand peas. And it was like, it kept us really excited and happy about life for like years.
Good.
So that's probably
awesome.
a story about your art that no one's told
See,
you.
that's
'Cause
amazing.
people probably tell you about how awesome Opinion of Feelings was twice a week, you know, but no one tells you about the feed the hand
I love it. I
peas,
love
right?
it. And that kind of stuff's great because it's true. It's so unique. And like, I love those kind of stories because no one ever tells me that kind of stuff. I mean, they do, but it's like, it's just, it'll be somebody that goes, you know, they'll just come and go, I gotta tell you this thing. So when my friend and I love it. It's always great. So yeah, there's
got this archive of personal things people have told you about their relationship to your music and your art and lyrics and stuff over the years, but perhaps the Soulful Revolution hand has not been.
No.
That should be your next project, just carrying a recorder around, and when somebody comes up and goes, you know that lyric, and you go, wait a minute, and hit record. And just
I mean, how many times is it like someone just being like, yeah, man, because when we first heard the Crew, then we got a crew together, and when you sing the Crew, it's about our crew.
Right.
Like, that's their whole story, and it's cool, but it's like, okay. You know?
Or, you know, and then I think Choke from Slapshot, or somebody from Boston, the big, you know, hard heavyweights of Boston, heard about it and got pissed at us because they thought we were stealing the idea of a crew from Boston, the Boston Crew. And I was like, wow, man, this shit just gets deeper and deeper.
Real deep on that.
So we weren't sure when we went to Boston if we were gonna have, you know, some trouble or not, because it was like, wow, we might have crossed the line we shouldn't have crossed, you know. But we made friends with people, so.
Of course you did. Yeah, of course. It's awesome. Do you have any significant fighting band stories you want to share with us from the day?
Oh,
when
my
you had
God.
to actually confront another band?
Yes, and in fact, I can tell this one, and it happened in one night, and it was like the most horrible 7 seconds moment. We played Chicago at the Metro.
Oh.
And great show, fucking packed. It was like we hadn't been in Chicago. It's a great show. I don't know if I can go into specifics because I don't want to out anybody with, you know.
Nobody listens to the show.
Yeah. No one listens to me. So my brother and I, there was something going on where, okay, so it was after the show, we got paid, everybody was kind of figuring out. We had a hotel. We used to stay at this like funky little motel, like in this area that it was like a rock and roll hotel, and like I just remember they had a picture of Social Distortion, like a black and white, and they had all of these like stars, but like Social Distortion were the only. Oh, and TSOL. So our thing was we have to get them a photo because we stay here all the time. We've got to have our photo. I don't know if we ever did or not. Anyway, we're at the lobby. Everybody's trying to figure out what's going on. My brother, who was single at the time, had met a girl, and they were hanging out, and they had a couple, and there was talk of them going, you know, him going and hanging out with her, and I was like, okay, but make sure we know how to get a hold of her so we don't have this, you know, this issue, because we've had like problems with it before where like we almost missed shows because we couldn't find a guitar player. So I'm like, so I think somehow he thought I was just being bossy big brother, and he's like, you're not my dad, you're not. And I'm like, no, I'm just, you know, please let us know where you're going, or let us know how to get a hold of you in case, like emergency. I mean, what if something happens to one of us and we have to go, you know? And he was being really like pissy about it. So somehow you get louder and louder and louder, and then like I think he lunged at me. He always, if he and I get in a fight, he always has to start first because I really can't fight my brother. Like the idea of like fighting my brother just breaks my heart. Like the idea of hurting him. Like he always says, when you were younger you used to always pick on me. I was like, yeah, but I was like, I'd get you in a headlock, but I would never try to hurt you. But he is just like, ugh, you know, so he got me in a headlock, and I was like, you fucking asshole. So I'm trying to hit him like this, and then I guess the security guys just saw me, they just saw my face, so they thought, oh, the singer of that band is getting attacked. They didn't realize it was my brother who's also in the band, so they grabbed him and like got him in a headlock, and then I was like, that's my fucking brother, what are you doing? Like I turned on them, you know, like all of a sudden they were fucking with my little brother. So you think it would have stopped there. He took off, you know, we took off, and then we get to the hotel, like everybody kind of got there. I think we went out at 8. We got to the hotel, and Steve, my brother, had gone and hung out, and then he came back, and he was still pissed about everything. And so I see him in the hallway, and he's like, fucking asshole, blah, 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 blah. And then he just comes running at me, and then we got into it. And Jim Norton, he was always kind of with us all the time, he got involved, and it was, you know, but it doesn't stop there. Then I got into it with Bobby, our guitar player, because he'd been drinking, and he went into the bathroom and like, it doesn't matter. So he kind of shit all over the bathroom. It was like, but he didn't clean up after himself. And I'm like, dude, you're going in there. Like we have 2 rooms and we're all you have to clean the thing. He said, I'm not cleaning anything. I'll get just call a maid. And I'm like, that's not a fucking maid's job. You made the mess. Get in there. And then he would not do it. So then I was fired up. I was getting attacked by my brother. I was like, my guitar player shitting all over the fucking toilet. And I had it. And I said, you fucking asshole. And I think I pushed him. And that was it, man. He came after, and Bobby's a lot bigger than me, which is like, we got in the hallway. And we were just kind of like trying to like missing punches and not really doing much, because we're not good fighters. And again, break up. But it continued all night long. We went to go. Then we broke it up. Everyone was gonna go. That's what it was. We were gonna all go eat. It happened in the parking lot. It was just like the dumb, and it was like later on, I wrote about it in my journal. I'm like, it's like we're just a bunch of like fucking immature like prima donna little bitches that are just like, like we have no idea this is just so rock and roll and corny and dumb. Like it's so like typical like what a bunch of dudes are supposed to do. And I was really annoyed and embarrassed by it. But anyway, that was my only real
it seems like you've always been very, very well aware of perception trying to run you into being a cliche, and you've never allowed it to happen. And you've always hated that behavior in everyone around you, and it's awesome. It's like it's gently challenging people to listen to their better angels.
I know for me, I just don't want to. I don't want to fall into I don't want to be what I don't like or what I don't. I don't know. I try to be mindful of the reasons why we're here and what we're doing and why we got to certain points. And there's a reason. Like when I was a kid and I got into punk rock and I realized I wanted to play band, I wanted to do it differently. I didn't want to just be a band up on this high stage where girls were going, we were getting blowjobs in the back. I wanted it to mean more. And I remember the first time I ever felt like, when we started to get sort of a name, I remember the first time girls were acting sort of groupie-ish around us. I just was so devastated. I was like, with one band, you can't understand that we're like, we all love sex. It's not like we're not like everyone's, oh, it's your straight edge, you guys aren't. It's like, no, it's not that. It's just that it's like a respect thing, and it's like, there's a way to communicate and interact with people, and we don't have to play this corny little game of like, you know what I mean? Like, I hate it so much. It's just like, ugh. And I just hate it when I see it. I always hated it when I saw it in the punk rock scene, or like, when you'd see bands that you love and you'd see them doing that, you're like, oh man, this is like, and everybody's got their way of doing it and their own free will. It's just, that's where I start to get disappointed. I'm like, fuck, like.
What was about something more than just becoming the newest version of the same rock and roll cliche?
Right.
Like that we're gonna do it different. It's gonna mean more. It's gonna be direct.
Yeah, just something. Like why do we have to repeat the same? And that's why some of the bands. I think we talked about this a lot. Some of the LA bands. We saw it early on with a lot of LA punk bands, and we were just like, oh, I thought, wait. This is punk rock. Why would that happen? It turns out it's really just same old shit. Business, and it's almost worse because you spend a great deal of your time, with statements and messages, and then that are good and they're positive, and then you turn around and do this. And I mean, we all do things. We all have a little hypocrite in us, but anyway.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to build, I guess, a better community, as you were talking about earlier. How does your vegetarianism fit in all this?
I don't know. I'm not a real. I mean, I don't know. That's a good question. I wrestle with it. I'm a vegetarian. I've been a vegetarian for years and years and years, and I have no problems eating, not eating meat. I don't think about it. But it's like even people from PETA have contacted me, like, hey, you want to do they'll have some kind of campaign, and I'm like, I kind of do, I would love to, but I also don't want it to be like, I don't know what it is, man. I don't feel like I'm informed enough, like the way I should be. Like, I don't feel like I'm a vegetarian for all the right reasons. Like, like it took me forever I still have like Adidas tennis, shoes at home that are and it's like these things that like, I want to walk the walk, but I don't quite completely walk the walk yet, you know what I mean? Like, I just don't eat meat, but I don't have, and it's just really great. My wife is really, she's really vegan now. She's been, for the last year, she's really just become vegan. Like, she's just like, and she's so healthy, and she's got such a good attitude about everything, and she's really trying to work with me on this, because she knows I'm stubborn, like if I sense that someone's going to give me a long, drawn-out thing, I'm just like, oh, yes, yeah, I know it's good for me, you know. But, I do listen, and I soak it up, and I read stuff, and I'm always like, I want to be aware of what's around me. And I love animals more than I love human beings. The truth is, like, I have, to me, yeah, I mean, I love human beings, but, like, animals just crush my heart, like, just being around them and seeing what happens to them, and, but it's just kind of like, I don't know how I connect that with I haven't really written any songs about it or anything like that. I haven't ever really thought, because I think, like, it's kind of like how I've always sort of done with politics. Early on we really wanted to be a political band. Like we loved that idea, but I felt like we were just so. It was such a slogan. We like slogans, and just like you could have taken any. And I love what we've done. I'm very proud of it. But like racism sucks. We're anti-Klan. Like it's just kind of like.
Yeah. But maybe back in those times it had to be that direct.
I think so. I do think so, and I agree with that. I do. I think it had to, and I've sort of thought, but then you got to step it up a little bit, and like I've tried. I mean, I feel like I'm I try to stay. I try to be involved and do what I can. Like and what I feel like I can do that where I'm not gonna. Half-ass it, and then like a week later lose interest, and then people depend on me and they can't find me.
I don't want to understand. You don't want to invest too much in developing necessarily this in your public persona because you don't want to disappoint people.
Right.
Or like lead them and just be like, okay.
Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna jump off now because I had this discussion with the Positive Force DC people, because I just did an interview for their documentary, and they were really sweet. They were like, we really needed, we wanted you on this. They're doing a documentary in the 25th year of Positive Force DC. Do you know those guys?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's like. We
did benefits even recently with Mark Anderson speaking.
Yeah, I mean, I love Mark, and he was just like, I really want, you need to be involved here. And they were going to fly out to California and try to do the interview, and I said, well, I'm playing in DC. Like, and he's like, perfect, we can do the, So I did the interview, but it was like, I felt so, again, I felt almost unworthy, I'm like, because I started the first Positive Force group in Reno.
Yeah.
And the idea was kind of, it was just, we were involved with Amnesty International, we were involved with local home, food shelters, and we were really, my partner at the time, my friend who helped me, Bessie, she was so smart. She was like, I think she would think about things that I wouldn't, like go to, food, soup kitchens and say, what does it take for a person just to get a meal? Do they have to sit through a fucking sermon for 2 hours? Like something I wouldn't have thought about. I'm like, wow, yeah, of course. Like, why should anyone have to sit through? And some of the more religious ones say, yes, we make them sit through an hour-long sermon, and then we give them some bread, and I'm like, so what if they didn't want it? It's like, oh, then they have to go to the next thing. I'm like, wow, So we really tried to do, and locally, we tried to do our thing, and then it kind of caught on in a couple other places around the city. But they've taken it to such a crazy level, and they've done it right, and followed through, and just kept at it,
So explain what it is for people who are listening who have no idea what Positive Force is.
Well, you've done benefits. You probably know more.
The DC version has been around, since '86 or '87.
Yeah.
Vibrantly, and I think the early Fugazi shows and all of the Discord shows post-Revolution Summer were always sponsored by Positive Force, and always they do anti-poverty work, homeless outreach, clean needle exchanges, lots of work with grassroots, transgender, gay, lesbian, bisexual underground, and women's liberation, and Iraqi vets against the war, which is why I intersect with them, because Stark Universe played a lot of benefit shows for the counter-recruitment groups and the IVAW. So we worked with them even in 2007. We had a nice big show at the Sanctuary Theater.
Yeah.
And played. But Mark Anderson has been the originator and the documentarian.
Yeah.
And I think there's been a rotating cast of all the Discord artists and activists as well.
Yeah.
Like within Positive Force. There's a woman named Jenny Toomey for a while who was involved in the early 90s, and she sang in a band called Tsunami, and I think the guys at Soulside. I mean, there's the list goes on and on, but there's just like a huge nexus of folks all in DC with a lot of resources. I think that some things, just because something starts and only lasts for a couple of years in one place, and then the same idea catches on fire in another place, sometimes the environment has to be right. It's almost like the study of the evolution of organisms. It's like certain things will have a wonderful lifespan, but it'll be very short because the desert is harsh. But then DC has got resources and kids from all these backgrounds, and they have this rotating cast of people with, it maybe just even more of a population, but it's not necessarily that the Spirit was weaker in any other place, but it just happened to work best in DC.
Yeah, and I think, I felt very strange because they were asking me, why, I felt like they were asking me sort of to speak as like a, I don't know. It was really funny, but I guess I don't know why we were talking. What were we talking about just before this?
Oh, just vegetarianism. But somehow we just rolled over.
Yeah, I mean, so it's like
but you were like the originator of positive force. Like those words were yours,
right? No, and I'm proud. I was I'm happy to be a part of that, and I'm glad that I was somehow connected in that way, or I helped to sprout a seed, whatever it was. But God, that was such a good point, and I just fucking took it,
Do you just feel like often you don't feel worthy of representing ideas?
Well, yeah, sometimes, but it's just really like I think there's people. I guess there are people that can speak more articulately about it. Like they it's not like I'm less informed or less intelligent or less able to do that, but they've just. I like the idea of having I like being a team guy too. Like I like to know that I'm a part of something that is like maybe it wasn't just exact ideas that I had or they had but it inspired me and I took it to another. I did something based on something that I saw them do or I heard about them doing. I love all that stuff, and I like to think that it's just a sort of a mutual thing. And some people don't want it to be mutual. They want to say, no, man, you. And I'm like. No, us. There was a reason that it all came about, and So is that working?
No, it's still fine.
Okay. I still didn't really get to wrap it up the way that I was hoping to.
I think no, you.
Was it
us is just about it's the thesis of this whole situation here. I think that's what you've been saying for like 30 years, basically.
I don't know.
It's awesome.
Well, I think we took enough of your oxygen tonight. So.
Yeah, this is great. This is fun. I love the fact that we've had to go to different.
A lot of environments. Seriously.
Yeah.
We go to great lengths to get this interview.
Thank you so much.
Of course. Yeah. Thank you guys.
So, real quick before you go, where are you heading next? Where can people find out? You mentioned Facebook.
Yeah. KevinSeconds.com is the main site, and I have links to everything else, and they go back. And I'm finishing up this little tour from Baltimore tomorrow, and then I go home for 2 days, and then I go back in another rental car, and I do a whole run with, I'm doing a little solo tour, like going through, I'm doing, Ted Leo?
Yeah.
I'm doing some dates, playing with him, four shows in the Southwest, and then I'm going to the Mid. But it's going to be an interesting show because I just finally saw him. I'd never seen him before, and we played together at this festival, 7 Seconds, and I love his recorded stuff, but I've never seen him live. Yeah. But it's like, wow, it's going to be really interesting to play because his crowd is really
really different.
Yeah.
Like I didn't recognize that, but it's like college kids.
Yeah, and it's kind of there's a hipness to it because like the indie rock kids, whatever that is, they've sort of been So it's going to be. I was kind of going back and forth with it, like I'd love to do it just to see him every night, and I was happy that his agent asked, I guess Margie, to see if I'd be interested. But it's 4 shows that I'm going to do on my own, come back through like the Midwest, like Kansas, Denver, Salt Lake, and then that's it for the year. 7 Seconds is one big weekend. We're doing our big Reno hometown show in November, and then I'm going to try to finish recording some stuff, and I'm also like in the midst of trying to get a tattoo apprenticeship.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. So I've been, kind of like doing things on my own and being sort of quiet about it because I've got a lot of friends that are in the tattoo world, and it's like this weird to talk about friggin', like a whole like secretive tradition, steeped in tradition, like, you sort of have to watch if you say certain terms. No, man, it's not a tattoo artist, it's a tattooer. Like they're really big about, and I like it's interesting to me, because I love tattoos and I love sort of being around that world, and I think it'd be fun to try my hand at it and see how I would do. So, yeah. Anyway, so that's what I'm doing for the rest of the year.
Well, very nice.
Yes.
Well, thank you for your time.
Thanks, Kevin. You're very welcome. Thank you.
Well, that was the interview with Kevin Seconds. The final part of the interview. It's over now. Zombie Popcorn, it is now 9:11. We've gone 11 minutes over our time limit, but that's all right. We had a good time in the chat room. It was a great interview with Kevin Seconds and John Austin, the writer of So Now You're a Zombie, a handbook for the newly undead. I think everybody should go pick that up because it is really a really good book. Thanks to everybody in the chat room who hung out during the show, 3D Movie Man, Eric, and Jen, and everybody else who are in there but not talking, I guess. Thank you. And we will see you. I don't know if I'm going to do a show next weekend because next weekend is Halloween. So you should just keep an eye out on Zombie Popcorn's Facebook page because I will announce there if I will actually do a show. I just don't know because there's so much stuff going on. You know, there's haunted houses, there's 3D movies coming out, there's Miley's cooking. The Walking Dead starts on Halloween, which is next Saturday. So, you know what? Just for that fact alone, I don't want to take anybody away from. Not that we're that influential. You know, we had that much influence on people, but I think since The Walking Dead is starting in tribute, so everybody can just sit down, make some popcorn, grab a Dr. Pepper, grab some Guinness, grab whatever you drink, and watch The Walking Dead. Because this is history for zombie. This is the first zombie TV show. So I think everybody should watch that. So we will not have a show next weekend because it's Halloween. I want everybody to have a great... Oh, in the chat room they're saying do the show. All right, let me think about it. But, you know, The Walking Dead is playing. So... Anyway, we'll see. We'll see what's up. I will post on Zombie Popcorn's Facebook. If you're not already a fan of Zombie Popcorn's Facebook, all you have to do is go to zombiepopcorn.com or Zombie Popcorn Radio's site. There's a Facebook logo there. Just click on that and become friends. Keep an eye out on the post. Yes, if we do it, I will dress up. I will dress up in some kind of costume, probably a zombie or something. And it won't be the mask that you asked Whitney to wear last time, and she's asked if you were there. You know what she asked you. So we'll see. Keep an eye on Zombie Popcorn's Facebook and on zombiepopcorn.com, and I will let you know. We'll do it. I think we'll do it. So 3D Movie Man says she was hot for it. Well, I will ask her, and I'll hook y'all up if y'all are interested. So, that's it. I think so much. Had a great time with everybody tonight. We will see you maybe next Saturday. If not, have a very, very happy Halloween. Enjoy The Walking Dead. Send me photos of your Halloween experience, of what you dressed up as, what you're doing, all that, and I'll put it up on Zombie Popcorn. If you don't want it on Zombie Popcorn, just put in the email that you don't want this on Zombie Popcorn. Anyway, have a great night. Thanks for tuning in, and we'll see you next time in 3D.